Hello everybody and welcome to this video in which I get to talk about Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I have been looking forward to this game a great deal as a big time fan of both Fire Emblem and the Warriors of Musou series, and while I can't give away too much right now, this is still just preview stage and I wouldn't want to give away much anyway. I don't want to spoil a surprise for anybody. What I can say is that this game is living up to my expectations. Everybody knows how many Warriors games I do play, and it was only a couple of months ago that I played Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, only a couple of weeks ago that I played Token Rambu Warriors, but even despite the number of Warriors games I play, this one has hooked me in all over again, and it does everything right. Anybody who played the previous Fire Emblem Warriors will know roughly what to expect. Really, the developers have built on that, which was a perfectly fine, adequate, and entertaining game in its own right. But this one is a much more refined effort already, and it has a better focus, and I think that was important. So the original Fire Emblem Warriors was really a collection of characters from the entire Fire Emblem franchise to date, and by pulling them all in from different games, titles, and whatever, there was a lack of focus about the game. There was that need to accommodate characters from stories that were originally not related to one another. So I think that put people off a little bit from it, perhaps, but this one is directly related to a single Fire Emblem title. It's got the same characters, the same world, and it doesn't need to accommodate characters from outside of that. And in doing so, there's a real cohesiveness about it. Right from the start, if you played the Fire Emblem that it was based on, Three Houses, then you'll feel right at home with everything that's going on within it. You'll have your favorite characters. For me, it was Hilda, of course, Pink Miku. I've always liked Hilda. Hilda's the best. And because of that familiarity with the characters, setting and all of that, you can jump straight into this thing and just immediately enjoy the different perspective on it, because obviously Fire Emblem is a strategy game, so there's a little bit of distance between you and the action while you're playing those. You're kind of looking down at static units, moving them around in a very chess-like fashion, and feeling like you're a kind of armchair general. That is the point of them. But there isn't the same immediacy within the world. So the great thing about what this game does is it actually puts you in the action. You have direct control of the characters as they fight, the situations, and you get a different perspective on the world because you're much more immediately within it. And that is a real joy. As somebody who spent way too many hours in that original Fire Emblem, it has been great to have that different perspective on the world, which is a fundamentally interesting world, and getting a chance to get to know the characters all over again. Now, I must say that this game has been developed by Koei Tecmo entirely. Koei Tecmo actually did help with the original Fire Emblem Three Houses in that I think they developed the combat scenes, the animation for those. So they actually had a role in that, but they obviously were not the developer behind the narrative and the storytelling and all that. You can tell that this game is a Koei Tecmo effort as far as the writing and stuff goes, because there is a character in there, and again, I'm not going to spoil it for you all, but there is a major character in this that your protagonist is closely related to right from the very start, and that character doesn't really gel with me well at all, actually. I don't like this one character. I may grow to like the character because I'm only a couple of chapters in at this point, but it's just a very laboredly written character, and it doesn't have the same quality as what I expected from a Fire Emblem title, frankly. And interestingly, it's not the first time that this has happened to me with Koei Tecmo developed kind of Warriors licensed things. You may remember, it was a year ago now, I think. A year ago, Koei Tecmo produced the Persona 5 Strikers game, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was an excellent game, but by the same token, they took the opportunity to bring all your favorite characters back from Persona 5, which was good, but they also inserted a new character of their own, and that new character didn't gel with me well either. So I think it's a similar situation with this one. It's when Koei's working with existing characters, they've done a good job in recapturing their personalities and traits and all of that kind of thing. But when they've gone and introduced a new character, that character doesn't quite connect with everything as well as you might like. So That was the slight downer to my preview experience so far. Certainly not enough to affect my enthusiasm for the game. I think it is excellent, and I'm obviously going to recommend it. I'm not going to put a score on it at a preview stage, but I'm obviously, unless things go catastrophically wrong from this point on, I am definitely going to be recommending people play this. But yeah, I think that one character, and you'll know which character I'm talking about when you get hands on yourselves. That one character doesn't sit nicely with me. But everything else about the game is great. What I really like about this one, in contrast to some of the other Warriors games, is though you do have the immediacy of the action, you also do get some tactical control over it, because you can always drop back to the map and actually order units around. The characters that you're not controlling, you can send them to various locations and tell them to fight various enemies for you. You can use them to defend areas that while you go and focus on something else. And you actually do need to use that right from the start. There's no way that you can cover all the objectives yourself. You cannot personally be responsible for everything that happens in making a battle a success in this game. So you do need to use that tactical menu quite frequently, which again I liked. I really appreciated the way that they've gone about trying to find a way of bringing the Fire Emblem quality into the Warriors formula. They did that with the previous one as well. They've done it to a much greater extent this time around, and it does feel good. Other than that, they've gone and adapted kind of the modern Warriors combat system here. So whereas the previous one was from an earlier kind of iteration of the Warriors formula, this one has a greater emphasis on special attacks that are not the special attack. It's really hard to explain, I guess, in video form, but you've got various special attacks that you pull up with a menu, and those this time around are tied to your kind of weapon durability. So they've brought the weapon durability from Fire Emblem into this, which is a nice little touch. It limits how often you can use some of your more powerful attacks this time around. All in all, it's a very well considered game, really. The weapon triangles there. It doesn't mean that you would not be able to fight from a disadvantage, but you obviously are going to struggle more than if you have the weapon as advantage, just like in the real Fire Emblem. And there is permadeath in there if you want to turn that on. It's optional, but if you do like that in Fire Emblem, failure is kind of permanent, and that has always been the tradition for the Fire Emblem series, then you can turn that on here, and if you lose a character, then that's it. They're out of the game entirely. So that was another nice touch. Really, this is an excellent example of, again, Koei Tecmo finding a way of making their Warriors property fit with something else. It's not so much anymore about taking something else and shoving it into the Warriors thing, into the Warriors formula. Koei's managed to find ways of making this a very versatile gameplay engine that can be applied to everything from RPGs to tactics RPGs in this case, to various anime properties, and they can really just apply it to anything they want. And it's really become this very versatile, enjoyable, entertaining way of giving players or fans of anime or whatever another way of looking at their favorite things. So as long as I keep producing them to this quality, I'm going to be very happy indeed. I will have a review of this up when it gets closer to release date, but for now, do let me know what you think of the footage. If you've got any questions, I will try to answer them as best I can. If you've enjoyed this video, please do mash that like and subscribe button. That way you won't miss any as I upload more of them. I'm sorry this couldn't be a longer video. There is a lot more I want to show, but again, I'm kind of restricted by preview limitations. If you do like what we're doing here at digitallydownloaded.net and want to support what we're doing, then you can back us on Patreon for just $1 a month or more if you're feeling generous. And that support will help us to continue to grow. In addition, what you get is a 56-page monthly magazine, which is full of stuff, not just related to games, but also art and literature and music and movies and culture and history. It's a magazine which is really there for people who like Japanese art and culture as opposed to just games. And it is a pretty good publication. People seem to like it. So that's pretty good value for just $1 a month and your support on DDNet. All right, I'll let you go. Enjoy the video. Let's have a talk about Fire Emblem Warriors, and we will see you at the next one.